Uh, ah, 4 o'clock on the nose. I will call to order the January 27th, 2025 meeting of the Norwalk Traffic Authority. We have a quorum and call to order. Roll call. We have Commissioner Palladino, Commissioner Collier Clemens, Commissioner Sumter, Commissioner Tony Lopez, and Mayor Rilling. We have public participation. Is there anybody online that wishes to address the Traffic Authority?
No, there's not, Mayor.
Okay. Next, we have acceptance of the minutes of the December 16th meeting. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for acceptance of the meeting.
Commissioner Sumter makes a motion to accept the meeting minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
None that I have.
I have none.
Aye.
Mayor.
I have none.
Okay, so I will ask all in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that looks like that passed unanimously.
I abstain.
Oh, abstain. Okay, Commissioner Collier Clemens abstains. And then we come on to new business. Tierney Street parking regulation. Who's going to handle that?
I will, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. You guys can hear me okay, all right?
Yep.
Yes.
I can.
Okay.
Yes.
So this should be a quick week. I'm the only one here for TMP. Ben, who usually handles the traffic authority, is out this week. He got married over the weekend, so I'll be handling it this month. So the first item, I guess I could share my screen really quick. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So about a month ago in TMP, we were approached by the residents of 11 Tierney Street, which is at the end of this driveway where my cursor is. There's another house back here. And they came in to complain about parked cars along the retaining wall that's in front of 13 here. For those who don't know immediately, just looking at this aerial, this is JB's Deli on Tierney Street. So as it exists today, cars are allowed to park along this retaining wall here. Right now, it's primarily used by people who go to the deli. What we are proposing, and after speaking with both the property owner and the owner of the deli, would be to change the restrictions along this wall to two timed parking spots, so 30 minutes, and then no parking immediately against the person's driveway. What they were really complaining about was speeding cars coming, traveling westbound on Tierney through the intersection where that stop sign is. I believe this is Chalene here. So yeah, after talking to both, like I said, the resident and the business owner here at JB's Deli, everyone was really in support of it. The deli, who we thought we might have to sell on it, was actually in support of the timed parking because it creates more turnover for him and more customers. So he was actually in support of this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have questions.
Any questions from the authority or the commissioners?
I have a question for Mayor Rilling.
Okay.
Should I recuse myself? I am friends with the owner of JB's Deli.
I don't think that it's no benefit to you so I don't think you need to. I mean, I know the people there too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
So just to restate, the request is mainly where the red is no parking anytime, 20 feet from the driveway, and then the two 30-minute time parking spaces, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I have none.
I do know that when people park in the area of where the 30-minute parking spaces are, it is rather narrow right there, and the cars going around it do have difficulty. Maybe at some point we want to take a look at that, but we certainly don't want to take away the parking from a business that relies heavily on that because they only have 2 spots on their lot.
Mayor, I agree with you that we, perhaps, the traffic authority could consider evaluating whether that's speed, whatever it may be, but I think that's probably at the heart of it, the speed, because I've driven through there where have seen cars zoom by, and I think that might need to be addressed somehow, whatever that
Mhm.
takes.
Okay, I'm sure they're taking note of that.
Yeah, so in addition to this, we've also looked at the stop signs here at this intersection. And we plan on putting, a reflective strip so that it's a little bit more obvious on the stop sign. That was one of the additional complaints that the resident at 11 Tierney made, was that people just kind of roll through that stop sign and speed along that street, so that should help a little bit.
Mhm. Okay, any further discussion or questions?
I have none, Mayor.
I have none.
I have none, Mayor.
Okay, so all in favor of the Tierney Street parking regulation change, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. So I imagine you're going to also handle item B.
That's correct. So item B is.
I'm
to-
sorry, can we just have a
Oh,
motion
sorry.
first?
Yes, a motion, I'm sorry. A
I
motion
move
to-
item B. I move
Okay.
item B for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
So item B is in regards to the parking spaces that we installed back in 2022 on Union Place and Byington Place. So basically, what we saw recently was that some people are leaving their cars there long term, like weeks, days and weeks at a time. So what we are proposing is to put in a 4-hour parking time limit just during the day, so that we get turnover in these spots. They wouldn't be metered at all. It's just simply time spots. We reached out to the mosque that is on Union Place to make sure that we were accommodating their services. And we didn't hear back from them, but we believe that the 4-hour time limit accommodates them fine. And it would also only be from Monday to Saturday, which actually there's signs out there right now that say 2 hour from Monday to Saturday. So we'll be changing that to 4 hours. So it's actually less restrictive to people who live there. Also, overnight residents would be allowed to park in these spots. So we're doing 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, I have a question.
Commissioner Clements?
There's already a 2-hour limit, and you want to increase it to a 4-hour limit.
Yeah, so not all the
Wait,
spots are-
wait.
Go
I'm
ahead,
not finished yet. There is an issue with cars parking there for weeks at a time, car dealership using it as long-term parking, and it's 2-hour limit. So who is monitoring that now?
So I guess when residents notice that cars are parked there long term, they have to call the police. So not all the spots are marked for 2 hours. I guess signs didn't get installed for these ones on Union Place. There's one really old sign here, which I'm guessing is from before we put in the marked spots, and the sign was never taken out. So you know, I don't know that it's necessarily, monitored as it is now, since that's such an old sign.
Commissioner,
well,
Commissioner Clemens?
how is it going to be monitored if we approve it for 4 hours? You're giving them 2 more hours, and they know from past that in the 2-hour time limit, nothing happened to them.
Mhm.
So now, are we creating a situation where there will be more long-term parking because they realize that it's not being monitored?
Chief Wolf, did you want to say
Yeah,
something?
Commissioner Clemens, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, if you look at the area in Nathan's photo here, that area underneath the connector, the green
Mhm.
area to the left, probably all the way to this walkway there, it would that all untagged right now. There's no enforcement there. There's no signs at all. I think there's signs closer to the curve up here on the easterly end. What we discovered approximately 2 weeks ago, Officer Giantasio from our abandoned squad unit discovered that there was a gentleman using this area as a used car lot storage area. A gentleman in that area was buying cars and storing them there, and then reselling them. And I had spoken to Mr. Travers, and he had also discovered this. And since then, we've contacted the owner. And he's moved all the cars. At one point, he had 8 different cars registered out of state parked there, and he was using it as a private parking lot on the public street. So we more or less, this whole area to the left underneath the highway was unsigned. So that would be adding enforcement. And I think what they propose to do is make it universal all the way down the road by making going in from 2 to 4 hours. So much
Okay,
of
so all of the green area will be signed
Before.
yes.
for 4 hours, whereas now only the ones with the parking markings are signed for 2 hours. Is that correct?
So I believe it's just these 4 or 5 here that are marked for 2 hours, and I think it's just an old sign that was never replaced from who knows how long ago. It could have been 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see how it's going to resolve anything. There's no enforcement and it's somebody's word against another. And it seems
You want to
like
address that?
Well, as far as enforcement would go, I'd say would be probably the same as any other timed area in the city. If a resident sees a car parked there for a long time, they would contact the police and the police would investigate the situation.
and the 2 hours isn't working now, and we're gonna bring it
Well,
up to
no,
4.
so these spots along Union Ave or Union Place are not marked at all.
Understood.
And I believe it was just these spots here specifically that someone was parking the used cars there. But since we put these spots in, including these ones up here and marked them, within the last couple of years, we decided that it would be in the neighborhood's best interest to mark them all consistently for 4 hours.
How does
Could
that
you-
affect the mosque that's in that area?
So we tried reaching out to them to make sure that the 4 hours would accommodate them. And we didn't hear back from them, but we believe that the 4 hours from Monday to Saturday would accommodate them.
Nathan, what about residents, like for example, on the green rectangle on the upper right, are those residents there? I presumably right there. Did they make use of any of the parking spaces, or would they be adversely affected?
So the 4 hour restriction would only be in place from 8 AM to 6 PM. And then after that, whoever can park there as long as they want. So overnight, residents would be allowed to park there in any of the spots.
Right, have they been notified just the same?
I mean, that's just what the signage would be.
But what I'm saying is, has communication gone out to them, or any input or anything of the sort, or just because of the rectangle underneath the connector where you had the issue with the dealership or the selling of cars?
No, we haven't reached out to any of the residents.
I have a follow-up question. On the signs, on the areas where there's the 2-hour parking limit signs,
Mhm.
how has that impacted the synagogue that's there? Has it
Well-
adversely affected them?
I don't know that the 5 spots would. I think they have a sufficient amount of parking in their parking lot. I don't know exactly how many spots they have, but they have a reasonably large parking lot. And I don't know that they overflow that much into the street.
I don't really understand why 2 additional hours are being requested for these parking spaces.
Yeah. Well, I think the 2 additional hours is just to make sure that these spots along Union Place accommodate them in case of an overflow. Like I said, we reached out to them and we didn't hear back from them, so I don't know if it's necessarily even needed, but we're trying to do our best to make sure that they're accommodated if they need to be.
So have you had any complaints about the 2-hour time limit up until now?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I would start at 2 hours.
Any further discussion or comment?
Yeah, I'm just, and I understand what Nathan said regarding, you used the word accommodations, but going back to Commissioner Collier Clemens' comment, and also, if I recall correctly, Commissioner Palladino indicated, what is the real objective with increasing it from 2 to 4? I too have just questions as to what will that resolve? What would that bring about? When you say accommodations, who? Residents, the mosque?
Yeah,
And
the
how?
mosque service. So the mosque services go longer than, I'm not familiar with how long they go, but they go longer than 2 hours. So we want to make sure that their service times are properly accommodated throughout the day.
Right, but this is every day, you're saying. In other words, the increase to 4 hours is Monday through what is it?
Saturday.
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 Yep.
And their service is the same?
I'm not sure. I tried reaching out to them and didn't get back from them. So
Is that something that might be worth exploring first and getting a sense of that? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking.
Let me just add something here, if you would. The parking lot at the mosque probably holds 30 cars at the most. And then there is, when they have their services and other events, a very, very big overflow. They really have a need for parking. And so I was glad to see the parking underneath Route 7 and along the other side of Union Park Avenue. So, I mean, I think the 4 hours going from, as long as it's going to be enforced, I think the 4 hours are going to accomplish a couple of things. One, it'll help the mosque. It'll help some of the neighbors. Perhaps they don't have to run outside and move their car. And it'll stop that gentleman from parking his cars there without having any enforcement whatsoever.
How would added enforcement for these this parking revision affect the police department, chief? What impact would it have on it?
Impact, it wouldn't have a negative, it'd just be another area we would have to have the postcard check or to deter the behavior that I spoke about earlier. The officers assigned on day shift, due to the fact that that's when the enforcement time is, and early third platoon would have to check this area. If we had complaints, we would have to monitor the area. It wouldn't have a negative impact on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further comment or discussion or questions?
I have none, Mayor.
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, so I'll call the vote. All in favor of item B, of the parking limitation on, Bedford Avenue, Union Park, and Byington Place? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. That covers the agenda. The next meeting will be February 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
It is 4:21 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4:21 PM. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Aye.
And we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Okay.